No, we're not doing intros to the intro stream. It's ridiculous. Friends, welcome. This could have been the 21st episode of this show, and I suppose it is. This is 2020 plus plus, a Cyberpunk 2020 second edition stream. We've only got a little less than an hour, more like 48 minutes tonight, so we aren't doing intros. We're gonna sit around, recap everything that's happened so far, answer any questions you might have. Thanks for the what might be a sub, James. I can't read that text. It's so small. Thanks, Heavy Metal Man, for maybe a sub, probably. There's a lot going on in the show. Maybe you have some unanswered questions that I can fill in right now. Maybe you go, okay, everybody's just resubbing all at once. I don't have chat open, so I bet you it probably looks pretty crazy right now.
It's because you don't have. It's because you haven't streamed in a few days, so everybody's got all their anniversaries saved up.
Yep.
Well, I suppose I deserve that. I'm here to answer any questions you might have about things that are confusing, and maybe talk about where we want to take the rest of this season. Again, no intros. Not that anything interesting's happened beyond everything being filled with ice, except for Australia, which is not ice. And on a chart of things that don't have ice, Australia not having it is pretty usual. So, what do you guys got? What do you know about the plot so far? Because we just bounce around in this game.
The plot so far as I understand it, there's this is very RPG style. There's a main story quest that we engage with every 4 or 5 episodes, and the rest of it is filled in by our antics as players with our own wants and desires and fuck ups and getting everyone else in trouble,
Yeah, I think it has a very Monster of the Week vibe at the moment, because I was trying to think back to what elements so far we've done that really had to do with Dante Fierro employing us, and we obviously had the thing where we got the cyber psycho. We had the one where we got the person into the corporation. But I think
there was a Zetatech raid before you joined.
Before my time, obviously, yeah.
And then was Sapphire Eyes part of it, or was that an extra?
That was an extra thing.
Shamrock Eyes was an extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've done certainly more side quests.
All the side arcs have to do with Pascal and his fuck ups in some way.
Yeah.
Is this going to become like the actual Cyberpunk computer game where we'll finish all the side missions and we just have to wait until Dante Fierro calls us continuously for the next part?
I feel like Dante's been calling on you pretty regularly, once every 2 weeks or so, giving you plenty of time.
Yeah, but do we get to
accomplish.
bang Dante Fierro? That's the question,
None of you are Dante's type.
Hey, we could be after mods.
That's true, and we can discuss after mods.
Dante is only interested in Johnny Silverhand's humongous cock.
So I guess another observation, AP. So we have a couple of times we've done time skips, either short or long.
Yeah.
Other times we've pretty much played through every single day in our characters' lives, waiting for the next day to come around or waiting for the right time frame. So, what do you think, or what does a group think is the right mix there? From my point of view, there's certainly days I think the Bishop's just going to spend all day on his couch in his pajamas, watching TV and eating, microwave kibble. We don't need to see that on stream.
Ooh, microwave kibble. That's I've been there.
Well, I mean, actually, binging with Babish did a Futurama dog food for humans episode.
Yeah. So,
actually, didn't seem too bad. So, except for the eating out of a dog bowl.
That's the guy who did the recipe for Kaikion. That guy's crazy. I can't believe he ate that.
He does all these crazy media, TV, and
I don't know. Maybe I should get into that.
His last one was the cat ice cream sandwiches from Steven Universe.
I think that the time where we have to get down to the nitty gritty of day by day, it's because obviously if we have an opportunity to time skip, I'm gonna time skip, is how I think about it. if we're doing day by day, it's because somebody has something they need to get done, or because there's a clock running that you don't know about. I think we move at a pretty good pace for a tabletop RPG group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about that. I've certainly had worse paced RPG groups for sure.
Like the
Oh,
only
this one's-
time,
You
the
know,
only
even
times
our
I
shopping
remember-
episodes only last like, 30 or 40 minutes. We're
The
not
only
going to
time
do a
I've
whole
done-
episode at Gilmore's.
We've done 20 episodes in about a month and a half, 2 months of game time.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So we're doing better than an episode a day. So
Yeah, so we've got several hanging plot threads. Shamrock Eyes is in the background. It has nothing to do with you anymore. It's kind of wandered its way out, but I don't know if it might wander its way back into your lives at some point.
How
You
are we doing
have-
on that white tiger? That's the big question.
Well, that's Mash Nathers, and Mash is definitely coming back at some point.
he's building his alliance of evil, his rogues gallery behind the scenes. Show up later.
Well, the thing is, now he's running up against Dante 1v1, and that's not a great place for Mash Nathers.
Hmm.
Johnny Silverhand is going to be showing up in Redline City while you guys are gone, and he's looking to get something done, probably versus Arasaka. The
There's
sludge
the-
storyline is really about to wrap itself up right now, one way or the other. I feel like a sense of finality, given a guy hiring 4 solos to do a Black Ops extraction on Pascal. We've got Arkady Carbachier. Obviously, Cole Tom would like him killed, and he would like the guy he sent after Arkady to also be killed. Probably that's not a problem that's going to solve itself. They aren't going to end up in a gunfight where they both kill each other.
You
One
mean
of
they're
them
not going to be wrestling shirtless on top of a skyscraper and kill each other?
It's unlikely.
Shit.
in the rain.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you have to sword fight in the rain at night to a synth soundtrack with samurai swords.
Yeah. Well, like the upside for that, for at least my thought process, is like I don't want two like crazy villain level people after me, so I'm gonna get them killed. One of them's gonna kill each other.
Yeah, listen, that's conservation of big fish right there, and that's a good play.
There you
go. Marcus has Scarlet Vermilion and Norway Pepperoni, which are both aliases, obviously. Chasing him.
I was a little disappointed we didn't get to see the rooftop arrow battle, but
There probably will
Yeah.
be one.
I did, there was a certain, I don't know if irony is the right word, but in the person that hires someone to kill you then discovers that someone trying to kill you and so kills them to use them to send a message.
So
So-
they thought they were an associate of yours, not that they were
okay.
trying to kill you.
Okay.
All they knew is that they were looking to meet up with you. You still have a pair of assassins from your parents. A guy
I
named...
thought it was like 4 more. I thought there was like 5
There
total
are.
or
There are.
something.
There's Master Exploder,
Yeah.
and there's also Cyber Crossbow.
Yeah.
So those assassins will all be along at dramatically relevant times. Of course, we have our new main quest, which is, I guess it's divided. For Glimo, his main quest is present himself to Ferdinand Remo Bira Cabrera, and probably, I don't know, are you executing this coup or not? Like,
Yeah, I was unclear how we got into this situation of being part of this coup. Like, I didn't. Was that
That
part
was-
of what we came here? And I mean, obviously we came here
No,
That was-
they were just like, oh, look, it's a guy that can get us through the front door. He's our
that
best
was
friend.
part of our
We're
safe,
best friends now.
that was part of our safe patches to
Correct.
Manila.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if we'd sort of agreed to help this coup in order to get through. Or
yeah.
that just came up the
Pascal
first
did,
time.
in fact, agree to it. Well,
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the condition that Pascal agreed to get his dad to help us get
Klimo
to.
looks like he's in distress. He lost his microphone. All right,
Oh,
that's why he's
no.
in distress.
I can see it's connected to his headset.
All right, Klimo. American Sign Language. I know 3 letters. So you could start signing. Someone will translate.
I know 3 letters: A, S, and L.
Well, no, what you do is say, just tell him we can lip read, and then when he starts to talk, we just make up bullshit that we think came from Klimo's mouth.
Oh wow.
Bad lip reading, but
No, we
live.
just lived up him, right? So yeah,
No,
we've got
not
the
great.
Elcanos versus Cabrera. We've also got your mission for Penelope Red via her agent Arnold Schmid, which is to take on.
You mean Heinz?
No, I said exactly what I meant. Your objective, which is to extract a bureaucrat in the Naval Logistics Department from OTEC. And in the backdrop of all that, there's a battle going on between the country and its largely Muslim populace and the local communist rebels, who are actually pretty good at rebelling.
So what about like Dante's long-term goals? Like he's clearly got some stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, let me just. I think so far he's revealed that someone close to him, a netrunner, was killed by the internet phone company's lackeys when Dante was trying to expand into the Atlantic coast grid. And as a result, he's tired of their interference, and his job now is to break the company up. In the process, he's also looking to pull himself up into space. So you aren't considered to be a megacorp until you have an office on the Crystal Palace, and he's looking to make an office, possibly by bumping the internet phone company out by breaking it up into smaller pieces.
Yeah, I don't know whether we have much we can throw at getting him into space. I suppose you could ask.
Well,
us
he
to
hasn't
steal a
asked you to
rocket.
do anything about the space thing. He actually did ask MASH about the space thing, because MASH had space experience, but it's a little bit out of the rest of your wheelhouses.
Working again. Hey, there we go.
Yeah, welcome back.
I don't know. I finally rebooted the Go XLR app, and then now I have Mike again.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Mm.
So you guys actually work for Dante in two different capacities. First, as just he hires a lot of edge runners, and he treats them well until they betray him, and then he crushes them utterly. Right? Most companies, when they hire edge runners, they betray you at some point. I mean, we've seen this in the Cyberpunk video game dozens of times. Just look at the way the rich political couple treats you. No matter what path you go down in that, I'm guessing you get fucked. Dante treats people in that line of work, because he used to be in it, with a level of respect, and so he hired you guys because you are going to be his new premier team. On top of that, he has a secret deal with you to take on the internet phone company, which he's trying to keep on, the DL, because if anyone finds out about it, they'll kill him.
Oh, what was the thing that we found out at that place? Scarlet Eagle something?
Project Scan Eagle.
Scan Eagle. There you go.
So all I'll say about it is, if you'll remember during the Zetatech warehouse raid, Mash Nathers got tagged. He got flagged immediately after committing a traffic violation.
Yep.
And he got fined on the spot. And none of you, all of you, well, at the very least, Mash was like, how did that happen? There have been a couple news things on the side and some ambient dialogue talking about similar incidents. Scan Eagle is related to that.
Cool.
Is that when Mash Nathers pissed in the back alleyway or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
Classic
so
Mash.
you started asking me while I had the mic problem.
About your
so-
plan with the Elcanos and the...
Yes. So
yeah.
Pascal doesn't really want to do it, but he went along with it while he was with the really dangerous, scary guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially because they got us into the country, and he's wasn't really sure if we were going to need them again to get out. But he plans. He figures that if he does this, it's going to screw over Mash's deal, because taking down basically the head of Manila is probably going to force us to leave, especially if we screw it up, which Pascal always does.
You said
and-
Mash, but you mean Wolfgang, right?
Yeah, Wolfgang, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. And even if it doesn't, we're going to have such a big spotlight on us, we'll never be able to do a covert mission for his Arasaka contact. So Pascal has no intention of actually following through with it unless he absolutely has to.
Okay, so what are you gonna do when a bunch of guys show up in SUVs loaded down with guns, saying, "Hey, it's time to go meet with the boss. Let's go kill him now."
I have a headache.
So Pascal was under the impression that the boss was going to reach out to him directly,
Okay, I mean,
he
as
just
long
wasn't
okay,
gonna-
I'm glad that you have a contingency plan.
and that he wasn't, and that he just wasn't going to tell his. That's how I thought you explained it to me last week. Was that
Yeah,
they
far
asked-
listen, as far
they
as you
asked-
know, he's gonna send for you. The
Yeah.
question is, what guys is he gonna send for you with?
Well, I figure
His
he's
name
not
is
going to send
Sludge.
these
Is
guys.
it, is it maybe the guys you already know?
I figured not, given that they said they can't get in to see him anymore. But
That's true.
who knows?
All
We'll
right,
find out.
so you're not worried about it at all. Okay.
Oh, I'm certainly worried, but my plan is for Pascal is that he just wouldn't call the guys and wouldn't give them the in. But if that turns out to not be an option, then well, I'll be improving.
Oh boy, I cannot wait for the improv.
Well, now that I know that I'm more likely to get screwed on this, I'll have to think about.
I mean, you've got some pretty pressing problems before then anyway, so
That's true.
you are in the middle of an opening, of the start of a gunfight.
Yeah, that's the one thing that like irks me about this system is the auto 10% auto fail. If I was going to change one thing about our game, it would be to like take the crit fail rules from red instead.
Interesting.
What are they in red?
When you roll a natural 1, you've scored a critical failure. Roll another d10, subtract the result from your stat plus skill plus the first roll. If you roll another 1, you do not score another critical failure. So if you're really good at a skill, and especially if you're really good at a skill and put a bunch of luck in it, there's still a chance that you can pass or at least not massively fail. As opposed to nope, no matter what, there's no going back. No matter how good you are at this thing, you're boned.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's exactly the same how the crit system works, but like in reverse. So it just removes from it. But at the same time, it's like I don't know. I think that system is kind of nice because without it, there are times when you can never fail, and that's not within how the system is sort of built, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think that. Go ahead, sorry, Arthur.
the other thing I want to mention is that while Glimo and James are about to initiate a combat, there's actually a second one starting with Wolfgang and Colton at the same time.
Oh,
With each
awesome!
other.
Wonderful.
Now that the party's split, they're gonna divide and conquer.
Do we still have the mind cake?
So we'll actually, it's been a really long time since I've tried this, but we'll be doing 2 combats at the same time, side by side. I can't wait for you guys to call each other for backup.
I used to see when I tried to do it on with a BattleTech game using Tabletop Simulator and kept reloading.
Yeah,
two
I remember you told me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that worked. I was going to say, just going back to the fumble thing for a second, I'd mentioned in a previous show how I sort of thought it was an artifact of older systems to have those sort of fumble mechanics. But I realized, thinking about it afterwards and chatting about it with other people I'd played with for years, that probably the way systems have matured since the time of like this system was more that the concept of failing forward has become more common now. So the idea that a fumble becomes an interesting point where you don't get what you wanted to do, but something else happens and that pushes the narrative in a new direction. So
Yep.
Obviously the ability to shoot yourself in the face is a pretty spectacular failure and not really failing forward. It's a punishment for rolling poorly, so to speak. I think most game systems now would have a system where if you fail to do something, like if you fail to shoot a gun, you hit something else which causes an inconvenience in the environment, like start spraying water or gas or whatever the case may be. It changes up the narrative somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
I think
wonder
that's
how much-
just, I think that's how systems have changed.
Yeah, I wonder how much like stuff like this has changed that. Like, how long has Critical Role been going? Like 5-6 years now?
4.5.
4.5. Well, like this style of thing, even going as far back as Acquisitions Incorporated, like they don't want a show to just dead stop if someone fails. So if they fail, something interesting happens. I wonder how much.
But I think
plays
that
into-
comes down to the GM more than it comes down
You
to
say that,
like,
and yet they
system.
gave Patrick Rothfuss the Apocalypse Dagger,
Mhm.
which if you roll
I
a
have-
1 and you critically fail on an attack, it causes the apocalypse and the end of all things. And that game is considered canon in the D&D Wizards of the Coast universe now.
That's amazing.
So I think
I'm
they
just
took
wondering
the
if, like-
dagger away from him at some point.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like flavor wise, if that has something to do with it,
Perhaps.
rather
I
than
think
playing D&D like a war
systems
game.
moved to be more storytelling based as opposed to all roles and combat based. That
Yeah, but-
with
You can have both. Like you don't have you don't because it's modern day. You can't. It has to be this way. You don't have to have it that way.
Mhm.
This is coming specifically from a place where like I used to GM this game a lot for people who clearly weren't interested in learning the rules on stream, right? And they just wanted to entertain, and that's fine. But it pissed me off like so much that they was just like, oh, why can't I kill this person? I don't know. Did you fucking do anything to change the way your character works to kill this person? No? Cool. All right. And then I don't know. It's I think playing a game the way that the game is meant to be played is kind of like nice within itself, to be honest with you. So
Which is kind of, I'm surprised Colton's still alive because I'm a noob to this system. I have no idea what I'm doing. I built my character subpar and I throw them into stupid situations often.
yeah, but you've always rolled well when you've been in the stupid situations.
I've got a horseshoe gem so far up my ass, man. It's my whole life.
Like I thought, sure you were screwed when you got hit by the cops a couple of weeks ago.
The cops, or like the grenade in a plane that instantly kills you.
yeah, I'm surprised we
for that
didn't
one.
die in that.
Thanks, Wolf
scenario
Game,
where-
for that one because I would have died.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't have a fatality in that scene, to be completely honest with you. That was just like the stupidest, most reckless shit we've done yet.
Mhm.
Arthur, I'd like to jump from one moving plane to another without a parachute.
It was incredible, and it worked out. That was the thing.
Yeah.
All it cost you was two different aircraft.
All in all, a good day.
Neither were us.
But the
that
reward
makes
was
it
the,
better. Yeah.
the reward was the friends I made along the way, Arthur.
I think the reward was the cold hard cash that you earned double on for finishing the job early.
True. And giving a whole bunch of kids dumb nicknames.
Yeah.
Getting to set Arthur up for the need to prepare an airship battle.
Yep.
It's true.
I did
Yeah.
I did all the research on temperature hard decks, the viability of oxygen, all that stuff. And then you guys called me out on it, but the one thing I couldn't stop was stall speed, James. We had to hand wave one thing. And James immediately was like, what about the stall speed? And I was like, fuck, god damn it.
Next time you see the helicopter, all right? No problem.
Oh yeah, because that's safe. Jumping out of a helicopter. Oh my god, with the air currents going around that shit. Oh, can a helicopter intercept an airship? What were we at? Something like 12,000 feet? Can a helicopter go that high?
There's a helicopter.
Yeah, I
There's ones with
guess.
pressurized cabins.
Well, we were right at the point where you
at
don't have to pressurize
yeah,
cabins.
we were in a Cessna,
like,
which is unpressurized.
yeah, we were like within 100 feet of the pressurized zone.
There you go. Turbo helicopters can reach a maximum of 25,000 feet.
Okay, all right. I'll keep that in mind next time I need to have you guys rob an airship for a secondary mission instead of robbing the airport.
You need to get the 4 other colors of eyes.
Now it's time to uncover the ruby eyes.
Yeah,
What will it do?
and they all get put into like cyber dragon heads, and
Look, I've
Dante
certainly
just
had
becomes
Arthur-
Kaiba.
Arthur, I've certainly had the player in my group who's a geologist who called me out in every single rock formation, in my games.
I mean, how the fuck are you supposed to know that though? But,
The friend in my Numenera game the other day who complained that a monster I put in there didn't seem to fit with the ecosystem in which it was existing. So
That is a legitimate complaint, though.
The correct answer to that is it's theater of the mind. Use your imagination.
are you sure you're actually in the environment you're in?
See, but
Is this all a simulation?
that's the thing, James. Not only is that very Monster Hunter worldish of a monster being chased out of its natural environment, that's also how villains stack up in most of the traditional D&D storylines. Whenever somebody's like, well, this guy came out of the Underdark, it's almost always someone much badder than them kicked their ass and booted them out of the Underdark, and now they have to go to the surface and destroy Waterhaven or Neverwinter or this, that, and the next thing. Like, it's a chain of failures from a kaiju battle between 2 very serious contender villains. That's also how most Pathfinder Adventure Paths work, interestingly enough. Like, it's just like a very regular writing trope. I'm curious where you guys see the show going and where your characters are going.
I honestly couldn't tell you, to be honest. Like, it's for me, like I don't know what would happen once the hook for Wolfgang is solved. And by the hook, I mean like the whole contention with
Yeah, Gus is safe.
Yeah,
don't
right?
worry, I got you covered. Gus will never be safe.
Good.
Yeah.
So then his character will probably be like the flashback scene in Cyberpunk. Then, like, most likely, I'm gonna drop a bomb down an elevator shaft real quick.
I think, going back to your question, AP, it's hard to say. It's hard for me to envision like the future of the show right now without knowing. I think we're still very shallow in the main plot right now. We've done a lot of side stuff, and I don't think we've got the end in sight of the main plot. We don't yet know what the goal is we're working towards there. I mean, I guess there's the whole idea about getting Dante to Crystal Palace potentially, but I think I need to know a little
he's
more
not coming
about...
to you guys for that job. That's Dante's personal mission. He's coming to you to destroy the internet.
Yeah, so the ties that bind us basically are the fact we all work for this guy, but we're also helping each other out with our own things. So our own things are coming up and going down as necessary, but they don't seem to have. No one really has a lot of sort of, okay, now I've done this and it's resolved, and therefore my personal pathos is now no longer an issue. So yeah, certainly in the case of like with my character, where Bishop is pretty much, if I had to use a word for him, it's like survivor. He just sort of deals with each situation as it comes up, which means that as long as he's surviving right now, his only real goals are whatever he's been employed to do. So if he's employed to sort this out, then getting that sort of done, while at the same time ensuring that whatever's coming out from behind him is dealt with and making sure everybody else is safe around him too. So
I'm gonna keep trying to make your life hard in that regard.
Yeah, but I try not to build in situations where I say, okay, once he's done this, then he no longer has the motivation, But yeah, so once again, for me, once I know more about what the main plot line is we're trying to achieve, that'll be easier to say, okay, well, I think this is how this is going to end up, or where I see this going.
Bishop's gonna end up like the fourth Rambo movie, the most recent one,
Yeah.
Last Blood or whatever.
Yeah.
trying to
I
live a
think-
peaceful life in a ranch.
I think that was
and
actually
it's
the fifth or the sixth Rambo, actually.
fifth or sixth, whatever. I watched the first one and I was like, that was neat.
The first one is very different than all the other ones.
Yeah, it's super
The
boring until like
first
the
one
last
was
10
a-
minutes.
Well, maybe the first one is like a Vietnam War movie, essentially. The others are just murder rampage fests. They're a parody of the original.
Yeah. So 5. This is Last Blood was number 5.
Hmm.
It got hard when they called the fourth one just Rambo.
That's true.
Glimo, what do you got?
Rambo 2, Last Blood.
I honestly didn't expect Pascal to live this long.
It has been surprising. I don't think
just-
Pascal is incompetent as we joke him being. I think that Pascal is actually fairly competent, and he does manage to get himself into some shit, but everybody so far has managed to get themselves into some shit. So
Yeah, just my shit seems to like affect the whole party.
that's true.
Like
There is
I
a
can
rogues
guarantee
gallery.
I know why. I know why, Glimo. I know why. It's because it doesn't just it could just affect you. But you you seem to be very willing to like you see your companions as like a token to be traded in a negotiation.
well, I also think
know,
that's
like-
That
it's
is a
more fun
fixer thing, though, right?
Yeah, well, you know,
Exactly.
yeah, but I also think it's more fun for Arthur to use my shit to pull the rest of the party in, like, you know, James Martin showing up at Wolfgang's house. You know, that's the whole reason we're down here in Manila right now is because
Yeah,
we
James
decided
started. He started
not to give
stepping.
him Shamrock Eyes.
Yeah. Well, you evaporated him.
Yep.
Now you have to. You've received payment. Now you have to do the job.
I don't. So, assuming Pascal survives Manila, and I mean, one way or the other, he's probably if he comes back from Manila, he's going to, you know, be a lot bigger force in the Tagalog Mafia. So, I expect that.
Are you going to supplant your father? Are we going to get like a? I am the master now.
I don't think that. But I think that he'll be changing the focus of his business, and this probably goes with his promotion. You know, changing the focus of his business. You know, with the exception of his ongoing work with Dante, but his side hustles are going to be less about just stealing whatever cyberware comes along, and probably more focused on the family business.
Okay.
And you know, family business doesn't have to be, you know, whatever Maleko wants him to do. You know, can be, you know, that he's going to be.
I really want to know whether you're gonna fall in line under your father or whether you're gonna sidestep or even surpass him. That will be the most interesting part of the storyline should you survive.
Well, I don't think Pascal would have to do some other things if he was going to try to take on Maleko, because, you know, Maleko put an implant bomb in him.
Yeah. You do happen to know a good doctor, though.
Well, this is true.
You're willing to risk a one.
Doesn't matter who rolls. If it involves Pascal, it's just a 1.
Well, we've all had our. I think
It's true.
except for no, actually, even Coltan, you had your one when we were trying to get the
Yeah.
operate on the cyber brain.
Yeah. Well,
on-
like,
or
and
on
also,
Alphonse, yeah.
I also lost an intelligent point by huffing back blue fever
Right.
or whatever the fuck that was.
Yep.
that's an example of me just not knowing the system. Like, I don't know this world. I don't know. I'm just driving my character like a stolen car. Who gives a fuck?
Working for you so far.
Should we ask if the audience has any questions or anything they
Oh,
want to
that's
see?
good. That's good. We should ask the audience. For Colton, now that you've identified yourself by blood as being a nomad, you're getting a nomad tattoo. I think things are going to start drifting your way more than they have. Like your past is going to start catching up with you, because nomad is a way of life, and there are obligations that go with it.
Which is interesting because Colton's going to take up Dante's offer of like trying to turn Voodoo Project into like a therapy,
yeah, interesting.
like a forget your life therapy.
Okay.
That's going to be a cool contrast.
I mean, that's going to be your day job now.
My life coming after me while I'm trying to like make a procedure to help other people forget, including myself probably, because that's how
you're going to need
that
to
shit
make
works.
some time in your schedule to accommodate for the fact that you'll be working 8-hour days, 6 days a week.
I have very controlled sleep now.
Well, what the hell does that mean?
That drug,
Getting
man.
drugs.
Drug.
What drug? What?
The sleep drug.
The sleep drug that I developed for,
Oh
for
my
Pascal.
goodness.
I've been using it to help me. So I'm assuming
Have
I'm
you been
addicted to it
paying
now.
to make it?
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm
Okay.
addicted to it now, and I rely
Well,
on it.
we need
too.
to make rules for that.
Okay.
From some point in the next episode, I'm gonna write this down. We need to talk about the sleep drug.
Well, there's a reason I've been mentioning like every time.
That you weren't sleeping. Yeah. All right. And now I'm catching up with it. I did not get that at the second.
And the 18-hour zonk out. Yeah.
So that was a thing in D&D 3.5 and even in parts of Pathfinder, where high enough level wizards would get restoration to take away the exhausted condition and just stay awake for all eternity.
Mm-hmm. Well, this isn't staying awake. This is like, okay,
Reduce sleep.
I have exactly this amount of time. I'm going to take exactly this amount of drug to just plunge me into REM sleep immediately.
Yeah, well, we are gonna check the consequences of that during the next session.
Absolutely.
Probably not during your gunfight, though.
This is why Colton's going to die before he actually reaches any sort of peak. But
Too real. Too real. Wow, we don't really have any audience questions tonight. Audience, so disappointed in you. In a sort of like,
they'll be on the
Eternal
YouTube
way.
comments that we'll answer next week.
oh, for sure there will be YouTube comments. There always are. Let me tell you about BattleTech YouTube comments 4 years later. Don't worry, I know I got that rule wrong. So did the 3 people above you.
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck that happens, to be completely honest with you.
I think
have
there are some
no
people
idea.
that when they hear a rule wrong, they literally can't not stop themselves.
So
I love it
I've
when
been
people ask me like 5 years later why I did this thing, why I GM'd it this way, and I'm like, what do you want me to say there? I'm sorry.
so during this week, AP, because I've been jogging at night, and I listened to the most recent Oath of Endosteel while jogging. So I'd whack it on YouTube and put the phone in my pocket and just listen to it. And I think 3 times, and it took me like 3 different nights. I only go jogging for like sort of 30 minutes at a time. But 3 times during the show, I remember specifically hearing rules done wrong, thinking, oh, when I get back home again, I'll post about that. But by the time I got home again, I couldn't remember what it was. And I think one of them you fixed up. One of them you figured
Now I'm
out.
worried. We even had a vehicle rule specialist there to do it correctly.
I can't remember what it was. Actually, one of them I thought was wrong, and then I went and checked it, and it was actually right. That's right.
Yes,
yeah,
it
I
happened.
think
It
that-
finally happened.
One of them I think was the small pulse laser. I thought small lasers. I thought small lasers still get a bonus against infantry, but it's only small pulse lasers.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing I was going to say is the infantry don't get any modifiers for their movement when it comes to shooting. So if they
Oh,
move
okay.
or
I
jump,
don't know that ever made a difference.
No, it didn't.
But yeah, the long range shooting was not good. They're really only good if you're standing right next to them or on them. But boy, did they fucking nail that Archer? Holy shit!
It's a big
yeah.
wants-
Oh, there was something about the. Oh no, it was
Oh, maybe it was the Hunchback, but yeah, every single shot hit. It was incredible.
yeah.
Big
Anyway,
Spoon's got a
unimportant.
question
But yeah,
for us
they
in the
weren't big
chat.
things.
Yep. Let's get that Big Spoon question. It's going to be our last question. What is each cast member's ideal ride off into the sunset ending for their characters? I want to talk about what riding off into the sunset means briefly. There was a Discovery Channel show called The Colony that they did, where they took a bunch of people from different walks of life and put them in a abandoned studio factory in the Los Angeles, right next to the LA River, and simulated. So like they lived there for like 2 or 3 weeks full time, and they simulated like being attacked by bandits, traders coming along, and something.
I remember the scientist dude like dancing in the rain naked because he figured out how to filter water.
Yeah, he was actually kind of a dick to people. So he was a senior electrical engineer, and one of the young women was a practicing electrical engineer. And every time she tried to say something, he would be like, "Well, let's do it my way instead." But one of the guys on the show was like a edgy lone wolf badass, and at some point he was like, "Listen, we should make me a motorcycle so I can ride off into the sunset by myself." And they're like, "We're not going to waste all of our extremely limited resources to make you a solar powered motorcycle." He's like, No. It's what my character would do." And he threw a fit until they did it. And so it's literally the end of the show is everybody else getting out on a bus and then him going very slowly on a solar powered motorcycle in another direction. All right. Ideal ride off into the sunset moments. Glima, I'm starting with you. You won't reach that point. You'll be dead long before then.
Nemo's ideal would be he kills his brother and becomes the most powerful fixer in on the Eastern Seaboard. Running his own crime syndicate.
Wow, you're gonna just supplant Rogue on the... Oh no. She's on the West Coast. Okay, maybe.
But reality for him is that probably he and his brother kill each other, in a samurai battle on a roof in the rain.
I mean, I think it's more likely you'll definitely kill him in that circumstance. Your brother's stats are not geared towards combat. He's actually a corporate suit. The only handgun skill he has is chipped.
Nice. Good to know. Should it ever come to that?
Yeah, don't worry. You can hire a lot of people to kill you. That's the difference. Bishop, what's your ride off into the sunset?
So I think that he probably has unrealistic long-term goals, like because he's been screwed over by his family, been screwed over by the NCPD. Is the sort of person who would love to be proven right or to see everybody that was involved in that, get theirs, but that's not realistic in this world as such, because obviously the family is part of Arasaka. The NCPD is what it is. More than likely he doesn't really have he really does go for that sort of, where right off into the sunset is metaphor for dying, a la Shane. I don't think that he's the sort of person that will ever actually achieve his goals.
Wow, that must be painful to hear. As the person who runs it. Pretty tough, never achieving your goals. Speaking of someone who achieves their goals, Henley. We didn't mention it during intros, but you're doing a second gaming company now, or a second investment opportunity that has sucked up all your time.
Yep. I'm starting a second company.
You're a wild man.
Yeah. Well, actually, it'll be the fourth company I'm associated with at this point, but it'll be the second one that I'm actually in charge of. So
okay. What's your Wolfgang moment?
Mine is so fucking vanilla and basic, bitch.
That's fine.
I
literally
basically
drink pumpkin spice.
starting a family, adoption, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Very basic, but it's very Liam Neeson. Like he wants to make sure that that nothing is going to happen to this family.
You're gonna guest star in the Dante Fierro runs a Cyberpunk Red ambulance service as old Wolfgang Roth, and your kids get kidnapped, and now you're like, I thought I was out of the game, but they pulled me back in.
I have a particular set of skills, and I will use them.
Arasaka. That's a name I never thought I'd have to say again.
Except it gets said every fucking day. Just in casual conversation.
No,
But
you'll
yeah,
have to
no,
go
I mean,
Metal
that's-
Gear Solid. You'll have to go, kept you waiting.
How did you fuck that up? How did you fuck that up?
I did it right.
No, you said, kept you waiting. It's
Oh, okay.
kept you
All right.
waiting,
Sorry.
huh?
My bad. Say the line.
But you know, I honestly that's pretty much it. Like I see like it's a dangerous opponent to go against, but like if I can achieve the goal of like pulling all of that free without ruining the family while doing it, then that's the goal.
All right, drummer boy. 2 minutes or less. Colton's end zone. Where does he go?
If he survives the drug addiction,
We don't know if you're addicted yet.
yeah.
You're just gonna keep going until you do get addicted.
I mean, maybe. But like one of his big bad enemies is going to be there. So if he fights and wins that, then assuming the memory, like the Voodoo Project procedure is possible, he'll probably have it done on himself and then just be whoever he will be after that. Probably still an air nomad because that's in the blood and they've family and all that shit. So there's probably going to be, he's going to be a regular dude in an air nomad clan.
Okay.
So we're gonna have a scene where like you're trying to perfect the memory wiping drug, and you use it on yourself, and it works. And then someone says, "Yeah, that's great, doctor. You cracked the code. What did you do?" I don't know.
Yep. Well, there'll be like contingencies. He's probably going to be like, if this is part of Deontay's whole business, then it's not going to be just me. He's going to have people in place to replace me probably, and people that under me and over me and watching me, make sure nothing goes crazy wrong. Mostly because it would affect him poorly, not because it would affect me poorly. That'll be
Okay.
it.
That's all we have time for tonight, guys. James has to get to a meeting, and I have to go blow up a meteor.
Damn.
Oh, are you doing that tonight?
Yeah, we're doing it right now. You want to come watch?
Kinda do. Yeah.
All right. I mean, we're gonna blow it up in
Kinda
10
do.
minutes, as far as I can tell, unless something goes wrong. That's
Are
it.
you recording that shit? Make sure you make
Yeah,
a
I'm
video
not
of it, man.
doing it right now. Like, I'm about to stop this recording and start the next one. So when I return, friends, in just a few minutes, we will be blowing up a meteor.
I'll blow up the ocean.
That's, well, if we miss, that will happen. Have a good night.